DealQuest community, I'm so excited to have David Wood on an upcoming episode of DealQuest. He's going to bring some really interesting things to the way we think about deals and the internal work that I often talk about. David, what are people going to hear about on your episode of DealQuest?
Corey, we're going to talk about some really cool stuff about the mindset that comes to making deals, which can actually change your business and your life. We're going to talk about generating possibility, having you be a possibility generation machine. We'll talk about the courage required. We'll talk about how to be charmingly persistent, not annoyingly persistent. And we'll talk about the value of transparency in building confidence, self-love, leadership, and trust.
I love it, folks. And listen, these are principles that apply to deals. They also apply to every other part of your life. So you're going to get a lot of value here. And you're going to hear about David's upcoming book, The Mouse in the Room, in which he talks about a lot of these principles. So definitely do not miss David Wood's episode of DealQuest.
So the first one is, if you want to make a deal, you have to generate the possibility. And I don't think this is like you discover that it's possible. No, you generate it. And this is one of the huge things I got out of Landmark Education. So other people see roadblocks, you know, it's quite natural. Oh, can't do that. No, it's not possible. Can't do that. Oh, got to be vaccinated to go to Costa Rica. After Landmark, like the third course that I did there was all about being unstoppable. Now, sure, I might have had some of that as a kid. My mom said, best way to get you to do something was tell you it couldn't be done. Right. So I had some of that, but Landmark was constantly about what is actually possible here. And I'll give you an example. I was committed to coming to every week. You have to make an agreement. I will show up every week to this Landmark course. And there was one that I did not want to go to because some huge opportunity came up. And they said, what about your commitment? I was like, well, yeah, I committed, but look what I could do, right, with that night. And they said, you are cutting off possibility. You have it as either or. And they're right. I could not see how I could keep my agreement and do this. And they worked with me and they coached me like, let's generate possibility. The more we looked, we came up with ideas like I could maybe fly to another city and make up the night somewhere else. I didn't know you could do that. Right. Or I could have a conversation with all 30 people in the class and enroll them and the leader in changing the night to Friday. Right. Didn't know that was a possibility.
Right. That wasn't even right in the realm of possibility before.
Right.
It opened up to you.
Yeah. So if you go and do Landmark, and even if you don't, you need to learn how to be a possibility generating machine. Another example that comes to mind is someone, I started acting recently, and that required generating a lot of possibility. I'll tell you, to go to that audition, given I hadn't done a class yet, and I went to audition, but I had to generate that it's possible. And working with a coach can help you do that. Is it possible? Yeah, at least for one of the smaller roles, I might get in. So I generated that. But then once I was actually in the cast, and by the way, I got cast as the lead in a professional paid production of Dracula out of all of that, which was not in my world of possibility. I'm like, I'm never getting Dracula. I don't know how to do that. And they said, no, you did a good Dracula. But then we were going to have a celebration brunch near where we perform. And the director said, well, they don't take reservations. So we're just going to have to get there early and line up in the cold for half an hour to try and get in. And my mind is like, really? Really? They don't take reservations? I only need one person to say yes. And then I started thinking, they know Dracula's been performing there for 6 weeks. And guess who I am? I'm Dracula. So I called up and I spoke to a waitress and said, hey, I know Dracula's been performing. She said, oh, yeah. By the way, I'm Dracula. I just want to say hi. She said, oh, hi. And I said, we're going to have a celebration of the last 6 weeks. And I wonder if just because it's a special event, if you might be open to making an exception and setting aside a table for us so we don't have to line up for half an hour. And she's like, let me check with the manager. Came back, we'd love to do that.
Mm.
So that's an example. And I'm saying this for listeners, because if you want to make deals, you have to say it's possible. You have to say it's possible that Alan Alda from MASH might come on my podcast.
Mm.
It's possible. And I'm still pitching him, by the way. I actually got to ask him face to face, not on Zoom. And he said, reach out to my producer. We'll see what we can do. You have to generate that's possible. You have to generate that Richard Branson might say yes to writing the forward to your book.
Mm.
You have to generate that huge alliance possibility, that there might be something in it for them that you haven't thought of or they haven't thought of yet, that would have them say, oh, we'll give it a try. You know what? I'll send it to a 10th of my list. In fact, you might pitch it. Send it to a 10th of your list, see if it does well. And if it doesn't, we'll just leave it. So that's number one. Yeah. You have to know that it's possible, even if it's remote.
Yep.
Is it possible?
And that's a great point. Listen, and listeners, any of our regular listeners know that one of the fundamental reasons I do this podcast is, like, a starting point is to have entrepreneurs, leaders, business executives understand that it's possible for them to grow in a different way than their organic growth, right? In addition to, right? Yes, you want to try to get more sales and marketing and, and satisfy clients, do a great job, get referrals, all that kind of stuff. But there's so many other ways to grow through deals, and those are possibilities. And when that's not in your realm of possibility, because maybe you don't have exposure to that, or you don't know, or you have misconceptions that, deals are only big mergers and acquisitions for well-funded companies. And what we do here is help you break through those limiting beliefs and see the possibility of all the different kind of deals you can do, no matter what size business you have. And then we also talk about this mind of a deal maker, right? If you identify, as not being a deal maker, you can cut yourself off from those possibilities as well. And that's why we talk about mindset shift. So I love the conversation of possibility.